It was originally going to be all about Google Classroom, and then I realized there's just too much I want to share. So I decided more Google than anything else, because I think some of these things can be used whether you use Seesaw or you use Google Classroom. But I think they all kind of just make navigating our crazy life right now just a little bit easier. So off we go. I wonder if they're okay. So number one. So using a daily or weekly checklist. So we just talked about it in the last video on how to build all of them. I do want you to kind of think through some of the ideas that you can be doing. I have a little checklist down there that says, you know, where it is and when it's due and all that kind of fun stuff. So you can kind of see what that looks like. Um, Special notes when you're using the templates. You do want to make a copy for each student. But if you are working in multiple classrooms, also know that you will have to delete the assignment and start over if you forget to make a copy when you attach the attachment. And so that's been tripping people up recently. You have to make sure that you make that designation before you hit save. Otherwise, it's going to assume you don't want that option and it's not going to give you that option ever again. And so just to save yourself a headache when you are assigning things, make sure that you select one of those options when you attach it. Oh, my little thing didn't come up. Very sad. Okay. That's what I get for trying to be clever. All right, so Google Doc template is here for that daily schedule. So all of these are the ones that I was telling you that I'd share later. Those are all right here. I need to put the Sheets one on there now that we've built it, okay? And so, oh, see, I do have a Google Slides one. Okay, so you'll make a copy. I just apparently didn't put it in my folder. This is my lack of organization. So this one was a little bit different. And this one you could collaborate with your other teachers. But they also have that back to home, and they did it more like a choice board or whatever. It wasn't my favorite example, but I think it's the background I don't like. But as I find things, I've been putting it in there. Those are some of the templates that you can just pull straight out. Most of us looked at these, but I will just pull them up just real quick as well for the new people that are jumping in. Again, you've got your check off for checklist there. The spreadsheet, I will definitely get that in there so that you can see that it's got the little pieces that just make me happy. Again, watch the last video if you want to know how to make that work for you, or keep going to insert that straight into your slide or document, either one. Again, you're going to use a bulleted list. When you use the bulleted list, you choose the checkbox option, and that's what it will look like. And then you will select the single bullet and change it to a check mark. So that's why I feel like the Google Sheets is probably a little bit easier, but if you need it to all be in one area, then this is the way to do it. Okay. Again, it's not a Google form. It's not really meant to be used as a survey. It's not collecting information for you, but you could do a pretty quick little questionnaire in there if you're wanting to look through each of the slides, but it's not going to put it all onto a spreadsheet or anything for you. The beginner guide to Google Forms is there though, should you need that. So that's checklist. Moving on to number 2, using topics to help you organize. So in topics, and sorry, my little bar is in the way. I don't know how to do it without it though. Using topics to help you organize. There's lots of ways to organize, but just make sure that when you're using topic that you do start thinking through, like, how do you want kids to navigate? Do you want them to be able to come in and use, the way that it is right now? So if I say it's a weekly assignment due April 3rd, everything could be in that weekly assignment area. If they click on that topic in that left-hand side menu, it will only show them that. and that's all they'll see. So they're not going to see everything that they've done and everything to come. They would only see the week. So there's an option there. The other thing too is really make sure that they're going to the classwork page, because a lot of them are just looking at a summary and they're only going to see assignments, so they miss out on all the materials, they miss out on all the other links, and that can make it difficult because they don't always have all the information to make the best choices then. So to create topics, you can create them by going to the Create button and hitting a topic, and that's just going to help you organize. I put 2 links in here. Both of those are going to be on cheat sheets for Google Classroom and for organizing assignments in Google Classroom that has more information about different ways that teachers have done that, so that you're not recreating the wheel, and you can kind of think ahead on how that could be done for you. Okay, so customizing the stream. Have any of you been absolutely annoyed with how much stuff clutters up the front page? Maybe you do not want to see all of your assignments on the front page because you want them going into classwork to do the work. You can streamline your stream. To do that, you can actually go into your little settings icon and then go to General, and under Classwork on the stream, you can hide notifications. You can condense notifications. Some different things are all going to be there under Stream. And what that allows you to do is take all of the classwork options off, which means they only see announcements on that page. And that's not where they're going to go get their assignments, so that there's not 2 places where assignments are. Because I think some of the confusion on, well, I already did this, but they're looking at the stream, they're not looking at the classwork. So they're not seeing what has been completed. They're seeing everything. And they're having to scroll all the way through instead of going to the topic, to the classwork, or going to classwork, going to the topic or the week's worth of stuff, and then seeing exactly what they want. More settings. I found a person already did a blog on all of the different setting options. So I linked that in the purple below. So customizing notifications for those who are on group or team classes, and there's a lot of notifications, or you're a SPED or a special area teacher that has a million different classrooms that they're a part of and want to be a part of, but maybe don't want to be getting all those notifications from. You can actually customize this by going to the home page where all of your classes are found, and you're going to scroll down in the left side menu, and at the very bottom it says settings. That group of settings is completely different than the settings you find inside your classroom. The one inside your classroom is for that classroom only. This is going to be for everything in Google Classroom, and they have a new options. Yes, they can. Melanie, students can also customize this, so you may not want to show this them unless you want them to turn you off. But if you scroll all the way down, so the first section for notifications is for everything that you own. But if you scroll down, there's ones for specific class notifications. If you hit that little toggle that the red box is on, and you can toggle by class. So that way they are, so some of you have put me as a person in your class. Well, I love you, but I don't want all of your assignments and messages back and forth from your kids. I want to be there to help, but I don't need emails about all of those things. So I've turned all of you off in settings. So that's a way of doing that, but still being able to see your responses and things like that on the ones that I still need to see notifications from. So that can be now done. And this is a new feature, but it can be done now on an individual class. But yes, students can do the same thing. Teachers can do this. There's some principals who wanted to be on all the classrooms. I've been talking them through this as well. So just kind of knowing what options are there for you. But yes, that's there. Okay, canned comments. Feedback is a really big thing right now. And there is only so many ways that you can say, yay, I got your assignment. Thank you so much. So that you're spending time on the ones who really do need feedback and really need, to dig into what happened, or I need more, or those sorts of things. So to free up some of your time, this might be an option for you, and you might hate it, but it's an option that you may not be aware of. So when you're in Google Classroom or in Docs, there is a comment bank feature where you can create your own comment bank of frequently used comments and feedback for students. You type in what you want to type in and add. And that way, when you're putting in comments, you can use that comment bank to just put it in there. So if you know that there's something that you use all the time right now, that might be a way of kind of coming in and putting that in there. And I didn't know if you guys knew that that was there, because I didn't. So I thought that was kind of a cool feature, especially with the amount of stuff that we're looking through right now and require feedback. So if you've ever wanted the stamp, this is your stamp. So that can kind of be kind of fun too to kind of look at. And there's really great ways to put true, really great feedback in here, even in a canned response. But sometimes you need something just simple that I need them to come back and do. And so sometimes it might even be a great one to do for ones who are still sending in pictures or videos or something else, and they've turned in the assignment in some way, and you're wanting to turn off the missing alert for them. So your comment bank might just be, this has been turned in, thank you, or something like that, so that you can return the work to the student in the grading section and be able to move on without worrying about whether or not they're going to see it as missing or not. Okay. Drag and drop interactive slides. Again, we played around with this a couple times, but it's something that I still get questions about, so I do want to kind of come back to it. When you drag and drop, you can hit any icon, any picture, any word can all be made into a stack, a draggable stack that can be arranged so that you have one set of objects that then become manipulatives off to the side. Again, it can be done in multiple different ways. This specific one, you take a picture, you drag it off the canvas, and then you hit Control D as many times as you want. Just keep in mind that if you have an enormous amount of manipulatives in your slide, it's going to take your slide a long time to load. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're doing this. You may not want to have 10 of these every week. But as a good way of using manipulatives, you can do this. And then you're going to drag your mouse over the entire stack, like the picture says, and you're going to select all by doing that. And then you go up to arrange, you hit align and hit center, and then you're going to find arrange, align, and hit middle. You have to do it twice. But then that's going to stack them all right on top of each other, so it looks like there's just one. And if you've ever done the infinite cloner in Smart Notebook, this is basically the same thing. You just literally have them stacked on top of each other. So instead of it making the infinite cloner symbol and creating that for you, you create the stack itself. So I thought that was pretty clever. I put a video, so if you need to see that in action, they do that below as well. So if you want to see a video, I also did it in the last video as well when we were talking about creating the checklist. So you can go back and look at that real quick too. All right, I gave you a couple interactive slides that you can use as templates. The planet sort I went over in the last one, the coin activity I went in the last one. So I'm going to actually look at some of these. These are not created by me. These ones were created by me. I just thought they were cool. So this one right here, you have your manipulatives off to the side that you can drag over the image. So they would click it and drag, okay? Again, you've got your instructions off to the side. They can put notes down here. This one's view only, so you making sure that you get the right thing that you need. Then I've got an interactive notebook. This one is a template, so you can pull that in, but I thought this was kind of a fun idea. Depending on how we start school at the beginning of the year, it might be something we need to consider. So you've got vocabulary, comic strips, lab reports. I mean, you got all kinds of things that you can kind of play around with for the different just some different ideas that you can use to play around with. This is another example of one as well. And so everyone's got their own ways of playing around with different things. But I wanted to show you what some of the options out there were. I love this one so much because they decorate the cover, which our kids absolutely love decorating the cover of their science notebook. So I just thought that was really cute that she found a way to do that digitally with stickers down at the bottom. So that was pretty cute. So back to our top 10. Those are all, again, shared in here. Just make sure to make your own copy of them. Number 6, changing sides and slides. And I think I've covered this today, so it might be in another video. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. But if you go to File and Page Setup, you can customize the size of your page. Type in whatever size of page that you'd like. So especially as so many things are coming from PDFs and you want to use them as a background so kids can respond online and digitally for you when you're creating different things. This is one of those things that makes it just a little bit easier for you. So again, you go to File, Page Setup, then you'll click on where it says widescreen. You'll hit Custom and then type in what you want and apply. So makes it kind of easy. So again, why would you want to do that? It puts it into an ebook format. So if you're wanting to put a book together using images as the background, like we talked about, making those interactive activities, make it easier for parents and guardians to print if they need to. And then it's easier because in docs, it's not as easy to make your cutesy newsletters, and manipulating the images is so much harder. You can't make text boxes. Those sorts of things are just they're more difficult than they have to be in Google Docs. So I like slides better. So if I can have a slide that looks like a doc, it makes me happier. So that's some of my whys for why I'd want to change the slide size. To change the background in slides is number 7. So to do the background, you can choose an image, you can use a picture. This is where you can find all of that information. You can add to theme. It will put that on every single background. So why would I want to do that? You might want to do a cute border. You might want to do colors. You might want to do some different things like that anything that would be in the background that you want on every slide, obviously you would want to add to your theme. And so again, it makes it easier for students to know exactly what they're supposed to be interacting with, and to be able to interact with only the things that they need to. Again, that's also how you can organize your thoughts or your days by changing those colors as well. Okay, number 8, copy pictures you find in slides. Okay, y'all, this took me way too long to figure out, and I felt really dumb afterward. Okay, so copy pictures you find. Because a lot of times you'll find the perfect picture for something and you can't save the picture. You can go around it by actually using what's called Keep. If you right click, if you notice, it does not give you the option to save the picture or even copy the picture. So if you save to Keep will actually open up in the right-hand side of your screen. When you right-click on the image, you'll have Save or Copy. If you've never used Keep before, it's actually pretty cool. I put a YouTube video and a blog post about using Keep in there that you can explore. I am going to open that one up so you can actually see what it looks like. So we're going to exit this view. So notice that it actually shows up over here all the time anyway. But if I wanted this picture, I can copy it because it's mine. But I can also, let's see, save to Keep. So when I save to Keep, Keep opens up over here. There's my image. And I can add to slide. I can copy image, I can save image. So notice I have a lot of different ones in here. There's to-do lists. So if you're wanting a great checklist, you can also do it here. It's just most people don't know about Keep. So teaching them a whole new thing might be harder. So I'm not sure how well using it with students might be, but we use it for team stuff too, and planning stuff because I am a note taker and I like to take my notes with me. And so it's a great note taking app basically. But then, like I said, I've got two of them here, but the main thing I was kind of trying to cover was getting pictures up there. All right, the next one I need to do a demo too. So number 9 is using voice typing. And I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but you can use voice typing. Students can use voice typing to, especially for littles that are not quite proficient typers or are kids who need that support, need some, extra options. So the first thing is that you do want to, and you can do this in docs or slides. Excuse me. You want to make sure that you turned your microphone. So I have the example right here, but it's really tiny. So you actually go up to the little icon that's next to, it looks like a little lock. I'm going to see if I can make that bigger. No, that did not work. All right. So the little lock there, though, we'll pull it down and see it's already up here for me. But if I go to site settings, then I've got the option to have my camera and my microphone on. They will need to do that for docs and slides. Okay, so that's one thing to know that it may not come up if they don't have that turned on. And then the next thing will be to get the voice typing thing up. So you actually go up to Tools, and it is called Voice Type Speaker Notes. Again, this is going to be notes in Google Slides. In Word, or Word, Docs, it actually types it into the doc itself. So kind of you'll want to know the difference between them. So I'm going to show you an example here and there. Where are you? Did I not click on it? Bad thing about having pictures of things. Okay, we're going to put a new slide in here so I can see where it goes. Tools, voice. Oh, there it is. Okay, went off to the side. All right, so it just gives you this little box. I have options for language here. So if I need a different language, it's there. And then I just click to speak. And the other thing I can do is hit the help button, and help will have up over here, and it will walk them through what might be causing them issues. So know that the help button is there. You just have to hover it to find it. And then I'm going to click on my microphone to begin recording my voice. Now, you notice that it is going to be down at the bottom of my screen. So I'm going to pull my notes section up, and you can see that it is just typing as I go along. You do want to probably speak slower, and notice that it is not doing a new line or anything like that. So there's a few video or audio cues to tell it what you want it to do. So new line is going to take you to a new line. Period is going to put in your punctuation. Comma is going to put in your comma for the punctuation. Exclamation point. So you just have to tell it what you want it to do. If you're wanting to take a break to go and edit something that you noticed didn't come out right, like over here it says fluctuation instead of punctuation, I'm just going to pause speaking. Period. Okay. I can pick up right at the end. So I click where the error is, I make the correction I want to, move my mouse to where I want it to start again, and just keep speaking as I need to. Again, this is where slides works. When I'm done, I hit the red button. We're going to do a quick example in Google Docs as well. Again, your tools, voice typing, click to speak. And so you get the same sort of thing, and you just start talking to be able to type. The kids do need to think about words that they're using so that they're speaking clearly, because it's going to, hear whatever it hears and write whatever it thinks you are trying to say. All right. So that is the voice typing. I just thought that was kind of cool. Let me go back into present mode. All right, so I put all that information in here, even though it was part of the directions that I just did. So you can see the punctuation that's allowable is period, comma, exclamation, question mark, new line, and new paragraph. Then over on the other side, you have punctuation in German, English, Spanish, French, Italian, Russian. And then if you need the beginning punctuation in Spanish, you have to actually type those in. They're not going to give you that option. Okay. Number 10, sharing and permissions versus making a copy. Okay. File, make a copy. We've heard this just a few times. What does it not do? It does not make a copy of everything linked inside. That's a typo. So when you're making a copy, all it does is make a physical copy of whatever's in there. So it's going to copy the links just as they are. So anything linked inside is not going to make a new copy of that. It's just going to be a copy of the link. So the link is still the same link to the same thing. Okay. Sharing permissions versus making a copy. You can force the copy, which you get that little image on the screen, if you take off the last bit of the URL and change the word to copy. Otherwise, you do need to make sure that everything is anyone with the link or public so that you can force the copy. Otherwise, it's just not going to do anything for you. The other option is to make a copy for each student in your Google Classroom when you're distributing to students. So this is the example. So if you take off that last edit, gobbledygook sharing, keeping the last / and put the word copy, that's going to give you that forced copy. So I've gotten lots of questions about that. So I just want to make sure that that was in there. Extras on sharing versus making a copy. So you can also put the word preview. And you can also put the word template. And so if you're wanting that cute little make a template of this or use this template icon instead, that is an option as well. Just know that you do not have the shared copy once they've made the copy. It just means they cannot use your copy. Okay, and I have 3 different blog posts about all of that linked in that slide as well to give you more info if that's something you want to look into. Making copies and sharing forms. This has been a kind of a nightmare of so we all learned how to make a copy. That seems to be fine. That does not seem to be where we are. It's sharing the form once we've gotten our own copy of it. You only send the link in Forms that comes from the send button. Okay, I'm going to say that again. You only send a link for people to fill it out through the send button. If you take the URL, they are going to be able to edit your form, not fill out the form. Okay. So that's what that little button looks like when you open it up. You want to click the link. you want to copy it, there is a shortened URL. I typically do that just so that there's less confusion when they see it. I love hyperlinking words so that there's less text on the page. But if you are wanting to have that on the page, that's fine too. But that is what you are sharing with people to fill out your forms. So if you send any other link in any other way on a form, they're going to get an editable copy and they're going to be able, they will not be able to give you answers on the quiz or the form that information that you're trying to gather. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, that is my top 10 for the week. All right. I am going to turn our recording off and then go for questions.